I'm going to talk about ZenBusiness. We're going to go over the pros, the cons, and really discuss if ZenBusiness is actually worth it. And so I started my business 5 years ago. And at the time, I didn't know much about an LLC or how to start a business. I saw a couple of options and I wind up choosing ZenBusiness. In this video, I'm going to answer the question whether or not that was the right choice and what I would personally recommend now that I've had 5 years of experience working with this company. And so I'm going to walk you through ZenBusiness's pros, ZenBusiness's cons, the steps you want to do to actually set up an LLC, and then some tips that I would recommend if you decide to form an LLC with ZenBusiness. And so to really know whether or not ZenBusiness is a good option for you, we first have to talk about how ZenBusiness got started. And so back in 2015, two founders came together because they were frustrated with the current process of setting up an LLC. Typically, it was hidden behind expensive lawyer fees, and most business owners didn't know how to set it up themselves. And so they came together to say, we're going to create a simple way for the everyday person to form an LLC. And so they've always kept small business owners at the forefront of their business, which can be seen by the company giving away over $500,000 in grants over the past 5 years. And so they have a strong focus on not just the formation piece, but also helping business owners have the funding they need to grow. To walk you through some of the benefits of forming an LLC with ZenBusiness. First off, they have really good customer service. I know personally, I've called them up on a Sunday multiple times and they've been able to answer my questions. And so if you compare ZenBusiness to other formation companies, a lot of them aren't open on the weekends. So it is a really big perk that you can call them up on a Sunday. In addition, ZenBusiness has a pretty fast filing speed for your LLC documents. And so with their Pro and Premium plan, you get your articles of organization filed within 1 day, which is a very fast turnaround, especially when you compare it to going directly to your Secretary of State. In addition, they offer worry-free compliance, which gives you the flexibility to make 2 amendments or changes to your business documents. To give you an example, let's say you wanted to change your business address or change your registered agent. When you have worry-free compliance, ZenBusiness is going to make those changes for you rather than you having to figure it out on your own. And so with this worry-free compliance, ZenBusiness acts like a helping hand to make sure they're there if you need additional support as you maintain your business. Another benefit ZenBusiness offers is that they have a straightforward LLC setup process. All you have to do is fill out a couple of questions on their website, and then they'll recommend a plan based off what you need for your business. And this process generally takes less than 10 minutes to set up. Now moving on to the cons, and these can be considered some big ones if you fall within these categories. One of the major cons with ZenBusiness is that it's not the best LLC service for non-US residents. And so if you live in another country and are not a US citizen, but trying to form a US-based business, I personally would recommend a couple of other options. One of them being doula, as ZenBusiness has more expertise with US citizens. Another con about ZenBusiness is that it's not great for business owners that want to form an LLC and a nonprofit. And in fact, they don't offer the service to help founders set up nonprofits. And so if you do want to set up a nonprofit and an LLC, I would personally recommend one of my partners, Busy. I work closely with them and I know they're one of the best options for nonprofits. The last con that I want to mention is that they're not the best LLC service if you're looking for legal support. And so if you want to establish a will or a trust, I personally would use options like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer. Now let's talk about how to actually set up an LLC. And so when starting this process, you really want to first choose a business name. And generally speaking, you want this business name to be available in your given state as well as available across social media. Once you have that name, you then want to choose the state that you want to form your business. I would personally recommend your home state. And if you're running an online business, one of the best options available is Alliance Virtual. They'll give you a professional office address without having to pay thousands of dollars a month like you would for a physical location. And so once you have that business address, you're then going to choose a registered agent. I personally would recommend that you use ZenBusiness as your registered agent as well as form your LLC with them. And that's what I personally did 5 years ago. And so once you've confirmed your registered agent, you then want to file the articles of organization. And so this is the 10-minute application I spoke about earlier that you'll want to fill out on ZenBusiness's website. And they've integrated AI to help answer any questions you may have as you go about answering the questions. And so at this point, you now have a business name, a virtual office, a registered agent, and your articles of organization. Next, I would recommend that you get a free EIN from the IRS website and open up business checking accounts. I personally recommend Bluevine as they're an online company that's easy to set up, and they offer other funding options like business credit cards and lines of credit. And so if you've gotten to this point, you have an LLC in place and you're ready to make money in your business. I would go to the link in the description below. You're gonna hit the big green button. It's then gonna ask you a couple of questions like, what is your business name? What state do you want to form your business in? What level of experience do you have with actually starting a business? As well as how far you are in getting your business set up. And so once you answer those initial questions, it's gonna provide a recommendation where you'll then be taken to the checkout page. What gave me some peace of mind is that ZenBusiness offers a 100% accuracy guarantee. In other words, they'll try their best to make it right if there's a mistake made with your paperwork. And so it truly is that simple to set up an LLC with ZenBusiness. Overall, I would say I've had a really good experience. They've been able to answer my questions. They send me alerts so that I know about any annual filing requirements or any notices from the state. And they have a simple dashboard where I'm able to easily access any business documents that I need. So overall, I've been happy with my experience and do truly recommend ZenBusiness for setting up your LLC. Now that you know how to set up an LLC, I'd recommend you check out this video right here, as it's going to give you insider tips on how you can get your LLC costs completely covered.